Welcome everyone to today's live stream, episode 13 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Druid gameplay series. I'm Commander Jorval, and I want to thank you for coming along on our journey today. So, on some quick admin notes, still have some, lingering things left over from my second bout with COVID, so I'll try not to cough onto the stream, but if I do, please forgive me. Other than that, nothing else going on, so I think we can skip right into our recap. At the end of last week's episode, we had cleared out all of the Risen Road encounters. Meaning we had finished the Tall House, we had finished the still a little bit buggy in my opinion, Joaquin's Rest, and we went and visited the Zentarum hideout. We've played this one a little differently than last stream, in that we did not take the cargo, we did not take the Iron Flask from the Zentarum, we let them keep it, and we weren't going to anger them during this playthrough, so we didn't loot any of their chests or loot rooms or anything inside of their hideout. To be honest, there isn't all that great of stuff in them anyway, but if you want to see how that all works, you can go look at some of the other live streams. So what we did at the end of the last live stream was get us in position to head to the Underdark. And to do that, we had made our way back to the Goblin Camp, and we are going to enter through the puzzle that is underneath the Priestess Guts chambers. And we've explained this puzzle a few times throughout the live streams. Hey Assassin, good to see ya. That's certainly right. It is Druid time. So we have explained this puzzle many times during the previous live streams, and how to interpret it and how to tell it what to do and what the solution is. There are also multiple guides online as to how to complete this puzzle, and just in the interest of time, that's what I'm going to do. I'm actually trying a new one today, so if it doesn't work, it's not my fault. But we will see how it goes. So what you need to do is orient these so that the full moons are on top, the new moons are on the bottom, and then the sides are mirror images from each other. So let's go ahead and follow this guide and see if we're able to do it. So the first is rotating the top twice. Okay, that should be good. And now the right one time. The top one 3 times. The left one 3 times. The bottom one 3 times. And then the left one twice. And yes, it looks like it's going to work. Okay, so you do get an inspiration,
We'll have to go in to see,
and you saw it open the door up here. And then you can see what the puzzle is. You have all the full moons here, you have all the new moons here, and then these two are mirror images of each other with the half moons on each side. So now we can group everybody back up, and let's just take stock and make sure that we're all full up and ready to go. We are. So we will head in here. and head down to the Underdark. Now this is... all of the entrance cutscenes into the Underdark are really cool. Okay, and now we are inside the Selunite outpost. So, nothing special to start off here. We can just open the gates and head in. Now, there are 2 rooms, one on each side up here at the top, and one is locked and one is not. So, we will start with Astarion lockpicking this gate. Actually, let's not do that. Let's just head over here first. We'll head into this room. You can hold Alt. Nothing shows up. We can search some crates here. And nothing worth looking at. So you have some torches. You have some candles. You can light up the area if you want. But nothing else. And you see that we have this is interesting. This is changed a little bit just in the aesthetics of it. So let's head down here. And you can see that we have some barred off windows, and we have a window that's open that we're allowed to get to the outside on and make our way around here. This is another way to get out of here. And it is a way that we're going to be exploring here in the not too distant future, because I think we're going to go deal with the Drow encounter first. So just picking up some basic weapons here that Gale is going to be able to sell. Searching some crates. And there is a place to sell down here, so don't worry too much about filling up your inventory. You're going to get to a spot where you can sell fairly quickly. So we're going to pick up the light hammer here. And the leather boots. We've got a great sword over here. And a helmet sitting on the bench here. And then we can search through the sacks and crates. Okay, nothing really. And then there's a lever here. We're going to leave that lever for now, because we're going to encounter something here in a second. So we will leave that for now. And we can head over here into this side room and open up the waypoint. Okay, so holding Alt, you can see we have a logbook here that we can read. It talks about their first ventures down here into the Underdark. And there were some Drow-shaped statues. Spectators shouldn't do that. But it lets you know that there are rumors of a Spectator down here. And Spectators are fairly well known inside tabletop lore. There's a potion of healing that we can take. They are like the small younger cousin of Beholders. Okay, should have paid more attention to the Drow sightings. So the Drow here, you know, had an attack on this outpost, or the other monsters down here had an attack on this outpost. And it led to the obvious problems that they've seen now. So now we can head up top here. We'll search this wooden barrel. And we can have Astarion lockpick this. Okay, it's a DC of 20. With guidance, he's got a 13 to 16. gonna have to roll really well on guidance. Nope. Well, the good thing about it is that we can just try again with Thieves' Tools. And we did pick up some more Thieves' Tools as well. Okay, so that's gonna work. Okay, so now we can come in here and again, holding down Alt, looking around, we have a gilded chest up here that is locked. Okay, so we failed all of our perceptions. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Well, we will split the... Well, actually, we won't split the group. We'll pull the group out here. Then we'll split it, and we'll take Astarion back in. And we're going to lockpick the chest.
Easy.
Okay, it's a DC of 15. Okay, and he passes it straight out. However, 33. That's a nice roll. He failed his perception check here. Okay, so no adverse effects. The chest wasn't trapped. And he picked up a helmet of smiting. So first let's transfer over some of these things. We'll take these Thieves' Tools and transfer them over here to replace that one he used. And he picked up a helmet of smiting. Now this is the first time that I've seen this in any of my playthroughs. So when you apply a condition with one of your smite spells, you gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier. So a paladin specific item, and that's why it's the first time for me seeing it. Paladins weren't in the in patch 8, so this makes perfect sense. It sounds like it's a great item. Whenever you apply the smite condition to anybody as a paladin, you gain temporary hit points equal to your charisma modifier, so possibly up to a +4 modifier, bonus hit points. So nice. We don't need it. We'll just send it to camp, like I say, just to save it. No real reason to keep or save any of that or any of that stuff right now, because we're not going to use it throughout this playthrough, but it's just a habit that I'm in. So here we can come out here and we can watch. There's going to be a Minotaur that's going to make an attack on the front gate here. Okay, and he got killed, and you can see it was these towers out here that did that damage. Now these towers are indiscriminate. They will attack you just as easily as they will attack enemies. So you have to be invisible or something like that to avoid attacks from them. And in doing that, there is an enemy encounter with 2 more Minotaurs down here, and you can actually use these towers to help you in that fight by drawing the Minotaurs back here and in range of them. And if you turn invisible, then they will not aggro you. They will aggro on the Minotaurs. In my opinion, it's kind of a waste of an invisibility potion to do it. So an invisibility spell that might be, of much less wasteful to do it, but it's not really that hard of an encounter anyway. So we're gonna split the group and go explore up here on top of the gatehouse, and we can search the skeleton, and there's some tattered notes we can read. So this is again talking about some explorations that the Selunites here had throughout the Underdark, and how it basically ended up going badly for them. Through the monsters that were down here, they ended up losing several patrols, and this was one of them. So the Selunite key here, you can take. We're actually just going to send that. We'll pick it up and then send it to the camp. That Selunite key is what opens the gate right here. So you don't have to pick it with the Starian like I did. That key is what unlocks it. So we can take that key and send it off. And again, that was one of those things in the quality of life improvements everyone would like to see, is some way to store keys so that they just don't take up an individual slot for each one. That would be something amazing. So we are not actually going to go out this way first, but we are going to keep those towers from possibly shooting us if we do venture back this way. And the way to do that is to target the moonstone here. If you shoot it, it's going to destroy it. You see the beam went away, and the two towers are no longer illuminated. So the lever here is what opens the portcullis, but we're going to leave that closed for now. And we're going to head out here. Now you get kind of a better look about what the journal was talking about. There are petrified drow out here. Now, spectators don't have as many tentacled arms as beholders do. And as such, they don't have all of the powers and abilities that beholders do. Spectators cannot turn... They do not have a petrify eye on one of their limbs. So it's a little bit strange that they're petrified out here, but one way or another, that's what happened. Okay? So we're going to break the group here, and we're going to bring our druid right out here on the top. We're going to put Gale,
the magic touch.
and while we're here,
Let's get going.
we may as well use a ranged attack, get rid of the torch stalk. Okay. And then we're going to bring Gale, and we're going to put him kind of out here as well. Alright, and we're going to put him into hiding. We're going to put her into hiding.
Quiet. Move with care.
And now Lae'zel we can bring out here, and Astarion, as usual, is how we're going to kick this off. So with Astarion, we need to give him we actually don't have it. That's right, we haven't picked it up, I don't believe. Just looking through the potions here. Yeah, we have not picked up basilisk oil. So we have antidotes and that sort of stuff, but no basilisk oil. So that doesn't matter as much. We can actually start this off
Time for discretion.
another way. So let's bring Astarion out here and bring him down here. And we'll take care of this torch stalk. Okay. And now we can try and suss out a little bit
Into the shadows.
where the spectator is. And a way to do that is by kind of watching your path that you're able to take when you're hidden. and see if there are areas of the map where you're not able to go. That will very often let you know where the Spectator is. In this case, it doesn't look like I see him over here, but I'm positive that he is. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave Astarion out of hiding, and we're going to cast Fairy Fire here, and we're just going to cast it, say, right here. Okay. So the skeleton got it, this mushroom got it, so there is something down here, however, that also got it. And there's no items down here, so I think the Spectator is down here. We don't want to throw. We want to hide. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it is. You see, I can't... It wants to wrap around here. So, I mean, that might be lighting up the cragged rock, but I don't know. So, let's just go in here with Astarion, and we'll trigger this thing off. Alright, so he was way over here. Okay, so what we have now is the Spectator, so he was way over here, and I wasn't checking that far over, because normally he's around in this area. So I was hoping to see him with Fairy Fire and bring him out of his invisibility, but he was way over here, and I wouldn't have probably targeted over there anyway. So now we have Astarion ready to go, and every turn, the Spectator is going to use one of its actions to release one of the petrified Drow. Now, Dorn is always going to be the first one that it releases. And Dorn, you want to die. Okay, Dorn is the leader, so to speak, of this group of Drow here. And if Dorn is dead, and some of the other Drow are not petrified and survive afterward, then they become interactable NPCs. You can have conversations with them. You don't have to. You can just end up killing everybody. But that's kind of the goal here, is to kill the Spectator, kill Dorn, but at the same time, you can let the Spectator try and revive a couple of them, and bring them out of their petrification. So if we look, for instance, at Gale, we can see where the detection cone is here. And we can
Not as bad as it could have.
take advantage of that. So things like spike growth aren't going to affect the Spectator. But other things like call lightning and that sort of stuff, I'm just outside, but you can see I'm moving just slightly up there to get into range of this. I could certainly utilize. So I think that's what we're going to start doing here, is we're going to utilize Call Lightning to get my Druid into the fight here. Okay. And that caused some damage. Then we will work with Gale. And we can, again, look at some options here. So Fireball's obviously one that we could use. It's a huge area of effect that it's going to have. But I think I'm going to instead just upcast Magic Missile if I can. Let's see how close I can get and if I can get this to hit. So yes, I can. Okay. So again, some decent damage there, and then Lae'zel is not going to be able to get close enough because of the detection cone to do any melee damage. However, we can get her in a position where she can do a ranged attack here on Dorn. But first, we want to get Astarion out of the way here. So we're going to dash. Why is he not able to move? Oh, he's frightened. That's why. He didn't pass his saving throw, so he has disadvantage on his ability checks here, or on his, on his ability checks here. So he can't move, so he can't do a sneak attack. All he can do is a regular ranged attack here, but let's try and maximize this. So what we can do is actually shoot this here and knock Dorn onto the level below, hopefully. Okay. So, you see now he's green. When you cause damage to one of them, it snaps them out of their charm state. Okay. So, what we want is basically for Dorn to end up getting killed by everybody else. So we can't do anything else here with Astarion. So I think we're going to hold Lae'zel in reserve here for now.
Let's have some fun.
Okay, so we'll just end Astarion's turn. Okay, and you see he cast Wounding Ray. And that ended up killing Dorn, which is exactly what we wanted to do. He unparalyzed another one of the Drow. Now, Isway is pretty powerful here. Level 4, she is a rogue type. And that can be pretty bad. For attack, as far as attacks go. So let's see. My cantrip's only 20. And I'm still frightened, so I can't move. I have disadvantage on this ranged attack, which is why it's only a 42% chance to hit. But we want to try and snap Isway out of it here. Okay, so we did miss. Nothing else that we're going to be able to do here, except we can take a potion of healing. And we will now look and see. So the detection cone is there. Okay, we might be able to jump across this. We can. Now we'll see if she is seen or not when she does this. Okay. So she's fine. So we're going to then jump her up here behind, and now we can get a melee attack in on the Spectator. Okay, so we're going to do a menacing attack here. Alright, got some good damage here in on him. So next is Jorvalin. So we really want to try and snap him out, but I think we'll leave Gale to try and snap them out with a magic missile. So let's see if we can again call lightning here. Okay. That caused a lot of damage. Partially because it blew up what I think was a torch stalk here. But yeah, the Spectator's down to 40 hit points now. So Isway is going to get an attack, then the Spectator's going to unpetrify another one.
Hungry for the slaughter.
Okay, because yeah, Astarian's done. So Isway is going to get an attack, and then the Spectator. Hamstring Lae'zel, not a big deal. Unpetrified that Drow. Cast Fear, so I was did frighten Lae'zel, but the Spectator did not move. So now we have Gale. And Gale can use his bonus action to Misty Step. And I'm going to Misty Step him down here. And now with his action, he's going to cast Magic Missile. Again at level 3. Once here, and then the rest on the Spectator.
Torment.
Okay, so they actually passed their charm checks. So, not a big deal. Okay, so now Astarian. So this detection cone hopefully is out of range. And these two are facing the opposite way, so hopefully I can dash and then I can hide. Yes, I can. And now I should be able to get off a sneak attack ranged here. Alright, so the Spectator's down to 9 hit points. So this shouldn't be a problem here.
Where do I go from here?
So here, not a whole lot of options that you want to utilize. Most of it's the AoE stuff. So there's no real need for it, so I'm just going to try a regular ranged attack here. And that's it.
Drow. And worse.
Okay. Now you can see that the Drow have all turned non-hostile. The two that are not petrified anymore we can speak to. The others still remain petrified. Okay, and that is because Dorn is dead. If Dorn is still alive at the end, or when the Spectator dies, then they will not turn, or they will not become non-hostile. They will stay hostile against you, and you will have to fight them. But with Dorn being dead, they become peaceful afterward. Now, you can't kill Dorn yourself. So once he turns green and he's on your side, you can't friendly fire him. If you do, then all the Drow will again become hostile to you. He needs to die of combat damage either from the Spectator or from the other Drow for them to turn peaceful so that you can interact with them. So luckily that is exactly what happened. So we will kind of bring everybody down here.
Have a lot on my mind. And, well, in it.
And we'll group everybody up. And we can take a short rest here, even though we're probably going to end up taking a long rest here really quickly. The Spectator never has anything, well, not in early access anyway. So we will blow up this torch stock back here. Attitude -5, interesting. Okay, so now we'll go talk to Iswe.
Flesh once more. Crack. A pity Dawn cannot say the same. Hardly. I came here with the wizard Dawn. He vowed to share his fortunes in exchange for protection. A man called Zargrim stepped from the shadows. They argued until their words turned to screams. Zargrim summoned the Spectator and fled. An unusual Spectator at that. Adept at petrification. I was unprepared. I hardly paid notice. There was talk of a pact and a forge, as I recall. I will free the others, and we will return home.
Okay. So you kind of learn the backstory of what happened here. The Spectator was summoned. So we'll take the gold. We will give Gale the Thieves' Tools. We don't need any more. And then we have a frayed Drow hood. Okay. And then our cog is sitting down here as well. We can talk to them.
Oh, my head.
Okay, nothing new there. If you blow up the torch stock, it's going to cause damage. So you want to leave the torch stock in place. And now we can search this skeleton here. And we can head downward. To take a look at Dorn. Okay, so Dorn, we can send this healing potion to Astarion to replace the one he used. Whole bunch of things for Gale to pick up. Hey Rainmar, welcome to the stream. Hope everybody's having a good weekend. Yes, yeah, I know. I have seen that. That seems to be dominating the Twitch streams and the YouTube streams is Diablo 4, so. And then you pick up an Icy Helve here, and I'll have Jorvalen hold on to that. The Blast Pendant we also want to hold on to, and then the supply pack we will send to camp. Okay, so a couple of things. The frayed Drow hood. This is light armor, and it gives you dexterity saving throws +1. Right now we're wearing the haste helm, which gives me dexterity saving throws +1, as well as getting momentum at the start of combat. So the haste helm is a straight upgrade over the frayed Drow helm, even though it looks much cooler on Astarion to have the frayed Drow helm. Fashionscape is not really a thing as much in here when you've got benefits that go above it. So the frayed Drow hood we're not going to utilize, but you can see what it does. And then Jorvalen picked up a couple of things. First is the Icy Helve. You can't do anything with it yet, but it says that it's an ice-cold handle of what must have once been a staff, and a single screw sticks out of the top, and it kind of lets you know that this needs to be attached to something else. Very similar to how we did with Vision of the Absolute, putting it together. You'll have the same thing with the Icy Helve, and you'll pick up more parts of this as you go. The next thing is the Blast Pendant, and the Blast Pendant is interesting in that it gives you Lightning Blast as a class action. So wearing it as a pendant, your next lightning spell or cantrip gets an additional bonus based upon how many lightning charges that you have. Now, this is one of those things that I wanted to give to Gale, because he could cast a lightning spell, and if he had something like the Spell Sparker staff, then he would have lightning charges all the time, and the Lightning Blast class action that you cast basically as soon as you wake up in the morning, so to speak, that would then use those lightning charges to cause extra damage with that lightning spell. But because I don't have a reliable way of getting lightning charges on Gale, it's not something I'm going to be pursuing. The Speedy Light Feat I can get lightning charges with, but it's light armor, or it's medium armor, and Gale is not proficient in any of that. So, yeah, I'm just looking to see if there's any other use for it. For right now, it doesn't look like there is, simply because I won't have access to lightning charges throughout any of this yet. So, and actually, I don't need, I can put the spring step boots back on. I don't need to wear the spider step boots because I'm not going to be unwebbed anytime soon in early access anyway. So, okay, so that kind of brings us here. So we want to move everybody way over here, and then we're going to clear out this torch stalk. And now you can see here we have another vent type thing here. And I think
Like its will be done.
I don't know if this is actually going to work.
Take heed. I see a
Okay, so
trap.
I can throw. We'll see if I can cover it up. Okay. So we'll see if that covered up the stone or not when we have Gale cast his Firebolt cantrip. Okay. So that caught the nauseous fumes on fire, and it looks like the body... Well, we'll wait for the flames to go out. There's only one more turn. Okay, so no, it doesn't. The body does not cover up the ruptured stone there. So there is
I crave blood.
another way that we can do this. And we don't have to do this. This is going to get us down into this area down here. And there was, I believe, yeah, there was a stone here that I think got blown up during the combat that you can use to do this same thing. And I just want to look around quickly and make sure that there's not another stone laying around. It doesn't look like it. So there is in one of these trunks, there was a plate and a bowl. So now it's just remembering which one it was in. Okay, so we'll just go search up here real quick. Okay, it might be... up here. Nope. Okay. Was it up here? It might have been up here. I know we saw it. Nope, it's not there either.
A crate. Fascinating.
Okay, well, we won't waste any more time on it. We'll just search this. I think we've searched them all. Maybe we didn't search this one. Yeah, I think that's it. We do have a scroll here that we don't want to forget about.
This'll do.
Okay. So, not going to worry about it anymore, and I think this is just going to take too long to get it down here. We'll see. I don't know if you can even throw this or move this down here. You can't. You'd have to throw it down there, and then it's going to take damage when you throw it. And it's probably going to crack. Yeah. Okay, so we won't worry about it. Why can't you come down here? Okay. Because you don't need to anyway. The one that you really need to worry about is this one down here. Because this one you can just walk past. So I was using it as an experiment to see what would work on this one here. But it doesn't look like it's going to. I think if I pick up this alchemist fire, it's going to move me into the nauseous fumes, and I don't want to do that.
Stay vigilant. There are traps here.
Okay. So it is recognizing that there are traps. See, this backpack covers up that there's another ruptured stone here, which is interesting because there is a backpack up here. Let's go pick that up and see if we can use that to cover up this ruptured stone over here. Okay, and to do that, we're going to go into our inventory. We're going to drop this on the ground. And then we're going to pick it up. And we're going to try and throw it on top of the ruptured stone here. Okay, nope, so that didn't work either. So, you can disarm these. You can blow, use a flame cantrip and then get Astarion in there to disarm it. That is certainly one other way to go about it. Astarion will take some fire damage while he's doing it, but the fire damage is not nearly as much as the flame damage is. Or, I mean, as the poison damage is. And you will want to go into turn-based mode to do this. Okay, and then Astarion can move in to disarm this. And again, he's going to take fire damage, but you see that was only 1 point that he took. And what turn-based does is make sure that you are not going to spend too much time in here and the poison comes back while you're doing the whole lockpicking cutscene mini game there. So he only took a couple of hit points and now it's disarmed and you have a path to get up and down here. The other thing you can do is if you don't want to do that, you can just jump from here across to here. You can climb down here, get onto this level, and then you can jump from here to here. However, for low strength characters, there's a height difference here. Making the jump from here back up to here can be difficult for some of them. So it's a one-way trip, so to speak. So it's a lot better to have this avenue open to come back up here if you want to do that later on. So what we are going to do, however, with Astarion is we're going to cast guidance. He's going to cast guidance on himself. And he is going to jump across here. Because there is a dirt mound up here. We're going to get Gravelin on the move while he looks at this. So he'll take the Arrow of Darkness and he doesn't need another poison. Okay. So now he can make his way down this cragged rock. Everybody else over here can group up and climb down this cragged rock. And now Astarion can jump. And you can see the jump range is just barely far enough for him to make it. So then trying to jump back up, you see, there's like one little tiny spot where he can possibly do it. So it can get a little iffy when you're doing it. Okay. So now we can kind of take a look, and that quick save is good because of where we're at. We can kind of take a look at the area around us here. So heading this way is heading toward the Arcane Tower, and I think that's where we are going to go first. So let's make our way over there. Okay, so, oh, they changed the animation here. Okay, so it put me into turn-based mode. This is interesting. I wonder if I'm going to get a Bulette encounter right now. If that's the case, I'm going to move Gale way the heck back. Okay. So, interesting. That is, they've changed how that works.
Let's move.
Oh, so the Bulette is there. Okay, so we want to... Oh, I was just about to put everybody in hiding, too. Okay, so I was about to say that was a little strange. Normally when you take damage like that, you take damage because the Bulette has popped up out of the ground. But I didn't see the Bulette. And that's, I guess, because there wasn't room here for him to spawn, so it spawned him in the nearest spawning point, which was down here. So, this is interesting. We have some options here. The Bulette is a serious enemy to deal with. Level 5 monstrosity, a lot of hit points. He doesn't show his attacks here, but he is 19 strength, so he's got a +4 for his melee hits. He can jump very, very long distances to get into combat, and he hits really, really hard. So I think what we're going to try and do here is get Lae'zel in here as much as we can, and I don't know if she's going to be able to reach the Bulette or not from here. If we jump with her, she could get down to here without using any movement. And then from there, she can get close enough.
On the move.
To be able to do a menacing attack. Actually, we'll wait on that.
What now?
Because we want to get
On my way.
Jorvalin up here to be able to cast Fairy Fire. And want to cast it so it doesn't hit Lae'zel. Oh, it's saved against Fairy Fire. Great. Okay. So let's wild shape here. And see how far down here we can get. Okay. So we're going to end her turn. Astarion should be able to go into hiding here immediately.
Do it my way.
Yes, he can. So he's going to move up here and get a sneak attack ranged. And that causes... Oh, we got a big crit for 48. That was beautiful. And the Bulette is now under the Bane effect for 2 turns. So it's going to have disadvantage on all of its attack rolls. And we're going to put Astarion back into hiding
Have a little fun.
from there.
Fury. I am death.
Now, 30%, there's probably not a whole lot I can do about that, but we'll go with Gale next.
Indeed.
And so for Lae'zel's attack, the reason is because the target is obscured.
What fools
I
these
don't
mortals
think
be.
Gale has... Oh, he does have the Dancing Lights cantrip. Okay, so he's going to cast Dancing Lights down here. That's going to illuminate this target. And then Lae'zel should have a much better chance to hit. Yeah, she's up to 55% now. She missed, but she'll take another one. Now she will action surge. And she will do another one. Alright, so we got a lot of good damage in there. And now if the Bulette wants to move away, he's going to have to take an attack of opportunity from Lae'zel. So... Okay, and that's it. Okay, so he's going to leap, and he leaped just onto her. Okay, which is good. He didn't try and... If he would have leapt up to here, it would have caused those two to be probably shoved off of the cliff down to this lower level and take more damage. So,
Best be on
let's
my way.
move down here and get a melee attack. Alright. And now, because of the way he's facing, should be able to go into hiding again and get a sneak attack ranged. Alright, more good damage. And now let's try and get down here.
Keep them guessing.
We can. Or a bite attack. Okay. Healed him for some hit points and took 6 hit points more off of the Bulette.
To strike.
And now here. Let's see what we have for a ranged attack. 45%. So 55% here. And that'll end things. Alright. So now we can get rid of dancing lights. And we can dismiss our wild shape. I think. I'm thinking about what's down here. Yeah, I think we can. We'll leave it for now. And we'll take another short rest to get some of Lae'zel's hit points back. And she can take another healing potion, and that should be about good. Okay, so now on the Bulette's body, we have the Blood Guzzler garb. And that's it. So looking at the Blood Guzzler's garb, this is clothing, which, like we talked about during our barbarian gameplay, if you're playing a barbarian that's just wearing clothing that's unarmored and you're trying to get the damage and armor class bonuses for being an unarmored barbarian, this is something that's great for that type of character to use. It is clothing, it's not armor. And whenever you start your turn with less than 50% of your hit points, you gain Wrath, which is basically +1 bonus damage. So, whenever you're 50 hit points or less, you gain +1 bonus damage, and with unarmored barbarians, you're going to be getting more damage the more you get hurt anyway. So that would be a great complement to that type of playthrough. For us, we're obviously not
Don't waste a step.
interested in that. That's not something that we're going to be exploring, so we can just send it off to camp. And now we're going to toggle our group, and we're going to bring Astarion up here to the edge, and we're going to see how many of these torch stalks we can take out from up here. Okay, so I think that's good.
Never a dull moment.
So we'll bring everybody back in and watch our bear climb backwards down a cragged rock. Hilarious. Okay, and after their crazy pathing things get all worked out, and we get everybody down here, we will split the group again. And so where's Gale? There he is. We will split the group again, and we'll have Astarion clear out some more of these.
Tread carefully.
Okay. Not that many left.
Must be one hell of a mole.
Okay, I'm looking to see what he said. Must be one hell of a mole. And that's because of the hole that's here in the ground, I think. Okay, so we've cleared out the torch stalks. Yes, we have. So we can come back and we can group everybody up.
No, never mind.
Alright, and before we do that, actually, let's see if we can clear out this one over
Watch your
here.
back.
Okay, so we can, he's just got to move to a weird... Oh, there we go. Okay. So here you can see that there's a rock that leads you down. And we can jump our way over here. And we can search the skeleton, and has the helmet of autonomy. We can hold Alt, and there's nothing else over here. We're going to bring everybody else over here,
For battle.
but actually we're
Let's see what the day brings.
not. Let me. Well, I think I can do it over there.
Indolence breeds madness.
We're going to take a long rest before we go down there. Okay, and then Gale.
Excellent choice.
And last, we're going to dismiss our wild shape here. We're going to move up here and jump her across, and I think I can take a long rest over there on that side. Okay, let's group everybody up, and let's take a long rest and get all of our... No, I don't want it to turn haste. We're going to take a long rest. And this is to get our level 3 spells back. Okay, so yes, we can. So, looks like Gale has something he wants to say, so let's do our conversations real quick.
Well met.
Nothing here.
Ah, there you are. How did you enjoy my dear stew this evening? It's an old family recipe. Good. I tend to season it with spices from Kuo-Toa, but given what's available to us, good old Rosemary had to see us through. Not that I mean to regale you with my culinary exploits. There's actually something quite different I'd like to discuss. We've been traveling together for a while now, and during those travels, I've been observing you. I want you to know that I like what I see. The way we diffused the tension between Zevlor and Aradin. The way you stood in front of a crossbow to prevent a murder. The way you got Korga to release the girl. The way you got that boy out of a harpy's clutches. In short, I've grown to trust you. Now I need you to place your trust in me. Our journey together is bound to last a while still. As such, I feel compelled to speak. I say this because there's something I desperately need. But while I'll tell you what that something is, I won't tell you why. I have to ask you to agree to this before carrying on this conversation.
Okay, so... I think just in staying on his good side...
Thank you. I see I did well to trust you. Now, to the matter at hand. You see, I have a condition. A condition different from the tadpole, but just as deadly. The only way to appease said condition is for me to take powerful magical artifacts and absorb the weave inside. It's been days since I last consumed an artifact, before we were abducted. It is time. And by that, I mean it's imperative that I find and consume powerful strands of weave at the earliest possible juncture. That's part of the why you agreed not to discuss. Wouldn't want to make an oathbreaker out of you. We've already done the finding. In fact, you have one in your possession. That one right there.
Okay, so here's options of all of the things that we've picked up that he can use to temporarily assuage his medical affliction. We specifically saved the Necromancy of Thay. We didn't open it, we didn't read it. We don't need another way to cast Speak with the Dead because we have the amulet. So the Necromancy of Thay is what we're going to choose here. The Sword of Justice is a great backup weapon for us right now, but we can certainly choose to give that to him without, much of an impact as well. The Staff of Crones, which he's wearing on his back, is a very, very good spell casting staff through early access. Being able to cast Ray of Sickness as many times as every turn without using a spell slot is quite beneficial. So that one would be one that we would hold off on until we can't, do anything anymore. And then the Amulet of Selûne is chosen. We can take a look at it here in a minute and look at what it is. But again, something that we can choose to give up, but something that we would prefer to keep. So for right now, we're going to give him the Necromancy of Thay.
Thank you. I can feel the storm abating. Yes, this will keep my condition in check. For a precious while. It's hard to predict the effect any given artifact has. But my condition is hardly a patient one. Rather soon I will feel it stir again. Like a distant thunder sending tremors through the soul. I will need to consume another artifact before the lightning strikes. There's no choice but to find more. As luck would have it, Faerun is full of them, though I do feel obliged to point out that items of power tend to be in the hands of the powerful. There'll be danger involved, for great cost. Good. A bit of boldness will serve us well. I know the allure these artifacts hold. I understand their value and their power. All this to say, I understand the sacrifice I ask of you. I hope I can count on you.
Okay. So, we did get some more journal updates here. Find the Night Song. We're down into the temple, underneath the goblin camp. And the dwarf Brian had a map leading. He was killed by the goblins at the temple, though. We found that out. Then searched the cellar, and the ancient tome is now complete because we have destroyed it by allowing him to absorb the book. And then the Wizard of Waterdeep, we gave him an artifact to absorb, but he still needs more. And it's now going to start listing all of the items in here as we find them that are powerful enough to sate his desire here. So now that we've had that conversation, the list is going to keep updating in here as we go. Okay. So what we did say we were going to look at is the Amulet of Selûne is chosen. It allows you to cast Selûne's Dream, which is basically a healing cantrip that you're allowed to cast that gives you, or it's kind of like a touch version or the same version as Cure Wounds, except the person you touch and heal with has a possibility of falling asleep for 2 turns. So it's got a downside, but it also has an upside as well, but something that you kind of prefer to keep as a backup healing source, but also can certainly afford to get rid of if need be. So that, the Sword of Justice right now, like I said, is a backup weapon. It's a +1 greatsword that has a spell associated with it, which is a great backup for the Everburn. But then we also have the Githyanki Greatsword as another backup to the Sword of Justice, so we could certainly give that away as well. So you're certainly not locked into it. The Staff of Crones is here, which right now is a fairly useful weapon to have. So keeping that on us is probably a good thing, but since we rely on Gale's spells that he casts much more than Ray of Sickness out of here, giving it up and having him permanently use Water Dancer or Rain Dancer, I mean, instead is, certainly something that we're, willing to accept. And that reminds me, oh no, Rain Dancer's here. So that's certainly something that we're willing to accept, so to speak. So we have some options when it comes to these things.
Lady of Sorrows, guide us. Did you want something?
Okay, nothing new here.
Hello, my dear.
Okay, this is the same things that same options we had previously.
Speak quickly.
And nothing new here either. So, and you can see that since we're in the Underdark, our campsite takes on the appearance of the Underdark. So, got all the same look and feel as exactly where we are, and your companions will change locations in these depending upon which type it is. So Withers is over here if we have recruited the owlbear or the dog. They won't appear in these, but they will appear in your outside campsites. Just like Volo is not here, but he is in our outside campsite.
Something good here.
So we'll take a look in the traveler's chest and we'll pick up our food for our long rest. So that's 45. So we can split this into 13. That's 39, and now we just need one more. Perfect, and that's 40. Now we can take our long rest. And remember, elves don't sleep. That's why Astarion and I are not sleeping. So now we can make our way down the cragged rock here, and it gave us an autosave, which is good. Okay, and now we're in the Festering Cove. Now, the Festering Cove is an interesting place. You can see that we have a Kuo-Toa hunter up here that is afflicted with Bual's Faithful. So, Bual's Faithful have a chance to apply bleed to any target that they hit. So, we have a Constitution save to avoid it. But something that you kind of prefer not to get hit with to begin with. So, we're going to split the group here. And
Time to kill.
there are some heavy checks down here, and I'm trying to think how I want to go about this. I think I want to keep everybody together and not hidden, because I think we're going to go down here as a group. Okay. So you can see that there's chanting happening down here. Okay, and we have a lot of the Kuo-Toas down here. So we've got hunters, we've got regular, we've got a zealot down here, we've got some more hunters up here, and these all have crossbows. So you're going to be getting attacked from range by them if you get into a fight. And we can pick up the Sylvan Stone here. Okay, and we also don't want to forget okay, and we can put that back on. Okay, so we have a rope netting that we can use to come down here this way. We also have a rope ladder which we can use to get up over here. And you can also climb down this way to get down there. And that's the way that we're actually going to go. So that we can keep all of us in a group together and not be worried about climbing up and down ladders and all that sort of stuff. Okay. Okay, and you're going to get a cutscene when you go down here. I'm just trying to... go slowly. Okay, so now I'm going to split the group. Okay.
Our blood to fill your oceans, O blessed Boal. Our bones to build your temple in the deep.
A wave of pure devotion washes over you, and with every surge you feel a presence grow in response.
Priest, truly says, your God wants truth, wants blood.
These beings are Kuo-Toa, former Mind Flayer slaves that manifest their gods through sheer belief.
You, our Lord of Murder, demands sacrifice. You will be an offering for the great god Boal.
Okay, so the conversation here can go several ways. You can try and convince the Bual that they're following a false god here. And in that case, there won't be a combat that happens. The checks to avoid combat are very, very hard. So these are to start off, you have an investigation and an arcana check. These checks, I'm not proficient in any of them at this point. So I can try them and see what's happening, or see if I can pass them, but again, I am not proficient in any of them. They're intelligence checks, and you see the DCs are incredibly high. Oh, wow. What do you know? Clutch roll there.
This presence. The magic is not divine, but fey. And it is murderous.
Well placed. Boal wants a sacrifice. For our lifeblood.
Okay, so here we have a persuasion check. Now, the persuasion check, again, is based off charisma, which we don't have. It's just another 1d4 from guidance. But you can also make and this option is here because you're now aware that this is a fae. It's not a god. It's just a fae. So we have an option to try and make a persuasion check, or you can go down this route, and which opens up other conversation options. But we're going to try this one and see what the outcome is. Again, it's a DC of 15, so another really high one, and the chances of rolling well back to back. This is one of those areas where if you're playing on your own, you've probably saved right before this, and you can re-roll these two over and over and over again until you pass it twice. Here, it's just pure luck, and somehow I don't think we're going to pass this one. We need to roll a 4, and we didn't. So we do have an inspiration. Need to roll a 4 again, and we didn't. we'll use one more inspiration here. And there we go.
Little? I'm a god, and I'm gonna rip you, tear you, wear you for a hat.
In the outburst of emotion, you feel the divine presence falter, then revert to its basic, cruel nature.
Bollocks! Don't do anything hasty now. The fish folk got plenty of power. We can share.
Blessed Boar. What?
Shut it, you! I'm talking to my chosen. Chosen got power. You want power, don't ya?
Okay. So, he now knows that we have the tadpoles. So, he's asking if you want power. So I can ask what kind of power, or I could just threaten him. So, to the priest, I can now have them bow before me, and I can become Buwal's chosen. So I said I was going to utilize the tadpoles as much as I could. And in this playthrough, I think this is as good as any way. We're not actually using a tadpole power, but we're, imitating being chosen. So I think this is the way we're going to go this time. But you can, attack him and convince them that basically they're being enslaved. But I'm going to play, and I think this is the way that we went on our first playthrough. But we've also had an entirely combat-based one, I think, which was our last playthrough, where we had to fight everybody down here. And that fight can get really hard because there's a lot of them. So I'm going to try this one and see how it goes.
You feel a swell of power again as the creatures redouble their prayers.
I think I'll keep you. Go then, chosen. Tell the surface world Bulette is coming. And so you don't forget. Here, this blade is my tongue. And I want a taste of every life you take.
Okay, so we successfully convinced him to keep celebrating Buwal as their god. And they are non-hostile now. So we can talk to them.
Something's on my mind.
Praise Boal! Praise Boal's chosen!
Okay. And you can see that there's a skirmisher up here that they've sacrificed. And just has a light crossbow. Okay, holding Alt here. You can see there are various other things up here, starfish and clamshells and all that sort of stuff. What we picked up was the Sickle of Booyal. So it's a rare weapon that is a light weapon. So you can use it in an offhand. And it has Buwal's blessing, so the wielder has advantage on attack rolls against bleeding creatures as long as there are Kuo-Toa to worship Buwal. So, in other words, if I inflict bleeding on anything, then I have advantage on attack rolls whenever I use this sickle. Again, very, very situational. But again, can be useful, but it is also a 2d4 weapon. So if I look at it here, right now we've got 1d6 for the short sword plus 1. See, I can have that in my offhand, and I'm now doing 2d4 plus 1. So you can swap those two around. I can put that in my main hand, and then my offhand has a light and finesse weapon. So this, it's a straight upgrade in damage, even if you don't utilize it for the bleeding effect. Okay? So Gale can then sell off the short sword plus 1. We picked up the Helmet of Autonomy, which is proficiency in wisdom saving throws. This is light armor, again, which means that Gale can't wear it. And the other helmets that I'm utilizing are much better for what I need to do or what I want to do. So this isn't something that I'm going to utilize either. Okay, and the Sylvan Stone, Gale is going to sell. I'm going to hold on to the Blast Pendant for now, just in case I do pick up something armor-wise that gets me lightning charges. So now you can explore the rest of this. So you can look over here. There's a barrel that we can look at, which has 62 gold in it. Nice. But nothing else over here. So can make our way up here on top. Okay, and we will split the group again and move Astarion over here near the Gilded Chest. Doesn't look like it's trapped. So, some camp supplies. And we have a Bullywug Trumpet over here, which is camp supplies. And a Swarming Toadstool. And now we're going to cast Guidance. And I'm not sure if there's one here or not, but the ground looks kind of different here. You can kind of see it. So we'll just move up and see if there's a dirt mound around here. There's not. Okay. So moving out here, and you can see this takes us back to the start where we were. Nothing else to look at down here. So we'll go back.
All right. What now?
We'll group everybody up, and now we can head over this way. And we have a couple of different ways to go. First is to come up here and search around, but there's nothing here. We can take this pathway over here. And again, going in kind of slow steps here. There's the dirt mound. Kind of figured there would be one in here somewhere. And a ring for Gale to sell. Okay, continuing on around, you can see that we have some things over here. So we're going to split the group.
Moving.
And we're going to
Happy days.
bring Astarion over here. Okay. Now you see we've got a couple of torch stalks here. If you take out this one, if you hold Alt, there's a potion of greater healing on the ground. I'm not sure if this is going to destroy that or not. Let's just see. Okay, so it did destroy it. Okay, so when you do it on your own, you don't have to shoot it. You can walk up to it and pick it up, and then when it explodes, you can take the damage. But you'll have a potion of greater healing that you've gotten. Okay, and it doesn't look like I can... There was one spot, it looked like, 1 pixel worth. right there. Oh, says path is interrupted. Okay, so this is too far. The gilded chest is locked, but there's another way to deal with this. And this is very similar to what we were going to try and do in Joaquin's Rest. You take Lae'zel, walk her over here, jump her into a position way over here. Okay, and then she can pick up the chest. Right? She took damage from that, just like you would take from this torch stock here when you go to pick it up. We have a pile of bones we can search. And now we're just going to carry that chest with us. Okay, and we're actually going to move back here a little bit. And now we're going to drop the item. Okay, so we're going to go to Astarion. We're going to cast guidance on him, and now we're going to move him back close to the chest. Okay, so it doesn't appear to be trapped. It's only a 10 DC. Not a problem. Okay. So it was trapped. For some reason, he didn't even get a perception check for it. That might be a bug in the game. I'm not entirely sure. That after you pick up and then put down a chest, it doesn't give you a chance to perceive that it's trapped. That's what Lae'zel, she failed her perception check over here, so I thought it was trapped. And that's why I set it down way over here, instead of right in the middle of everybody, and cast guidance on him so he could perceive the trap, but the game didn't let him perceive it. So that was interesting. So we do have a couple of these camp supplies that we can send off. And then we picked up the slippery chain shirt. So this is medium armor with an armor class of 14. So it is one less than the 15 that you can get from either Githyanki half plate or scale mail +1. But if you don't have access to either of those, then the slippery chain shirt is certainly a good option. It gives you the aura of protection, so when you heal a creature, it automatically disengages and will not trigger opportunity attacks. So this is one of those things where it triggers upon you healing somebody else. Now, the only person in our party that's going to heal anybody is going to be me. But when I heal somebody, that person can then move away without triggering an attack of opportunity. It can be very, very useful. And now my armor class is at 19. If I equip it, it drops to 18, but that's still the highest armor class of anybody in the party. So I think it's a pretty good choice for my druid to wear just because of the extra benefit. You never know when you're going to have somebody who is really, really hurt, who is sitting right next to an enemy. The best choice is for them to move, but they can't do it without triggering an attack of opportunity. This way I can heal them, and then they can move out of the way and not trigger any attacks on the way out. So I think that's a really good choice here for going forward for using her healing. So that opens up a scale mail +1 for somebody. Nobody else needs it, but we will certainly save that because if there's anybody else, like for instance Shadowheart, who can use it, and we want to bring her into the party at least temporarily, that's going to be a really good piece of armor for her to use. So I think that's it for that.
No one back home will ever believe this.
Okay, so now we can continue across to this side. And again, just taking it slow. Okay, you can move out here to the edge just to see, but there's nothing out here. You can't move to any of these islands or anything like that out here. Okay, and now you can see that we have another chest down here. So we're going to approach this slowly. Okay, we didn't get any warnings. And again, you can make your way up here to the top. So if you're trying to pre-position yourself for an attack against all of them, getting up here onto the high ground and being able to shove this hunter off down here is a great way to keep, you know, control of the battlefield, so to speak. Okay, so now we can come down here, we make our way into this area. And you can see they've got a nice little carving here on the ground. They've got some fish.
Might be useful.
There's a barrel of fish here, which has even more. There is some rope.
Something over there.
Okay, and she found the message in a bottle. Okay, so we ran out of paper on the road, got some paper from Druids. Maybe that's why they're mad at us. Zevlor says you got lost and that our old house is gone, but I read a book that says all rivers find their way into the Styx. When you get it, you can write me back in Baldur's Gate. I'll write again when I get more paper. Donnie. So you remember Donnie from the Tiefling caravan, and he basically threw this note in the water, and we found it here. And yeah, succeeded in the check. So, in the perception check. And now I think, yes, we have the curled paper here. So one more, you know, tie-in to the rest of things happening throughout the rest of the game. We can have Gale pick up the Lacolite here.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times.
And again, slowly making our way around. We have a barrel we can search. Got some camp supplies here. And a starfish. And then you see that we have some other items that are sitting over here. And we have this upper path up here. And I've never actually seen if you can climb this. Can you get up there? Okay, so you can't.
Over here.
At least things have stayed interesting. Never wanted the easy path.
Okay, so holding Alt, we'll have Gale go over here and pick up this Lacolite.
No one stopped me yet.
And now holding Alt, you can pick up all the gold that's over here. Individual gold pieces except for that stack of 72 that we already picked up. And you can read, well, we'll pick it up first and then we'll go into our inventory and read it. And it talks about just a prayer that, a song that Lord Bual wanted everybody to sing. And now you can see there's a heavy chest over here, half sunken in the water and really hard to see. One more benefit of being able to hold Alt. Okay, and there's a silver goblet worth 100 gold in it.
At the ready.
And now down here you can kind of look around. There's a bucket. And some other things. And that's it. So now we can make our way back up to the top. Okay. And head back up the cragged rock the way we came.
Cursed to put my hands on everything.
Okay, and this takes us back out here. Now, this gets interesting in that I don't know as if everybody's going to be able to make the jumps to get out. We will see. Okay, so Gale's able to make it.
That way.
Starian is as well.
No time to rest.
And looks like everybody can make the jumps.
Can't slow down.
Quickly then.
Is that blood?
Alright, so we'll group everybody back up.
Never mind. If not over, then through.
We've got some swarming toadstool we can pick up. And we can go open up this section of the map. This is a... You can jump to get down there, and some of your characters can make the jump to get back up. This is another way to get down toward the village down here. We're not going to go that way. We'll be exploring that a bit later. Okay, so trying to get the 1 pixel right to... Okay, so you can't reach it. Okay, so now we're going to move over here. Holding Alt.
A perfect ring of mushrooms. Nature or magic?
Okay, there's a bullywug trumpet here and another one over here.
That was anticlimactic.
Okay. And then... we're going to make our way back over here. The one area of the map we haven't explored yet.
Bones snap like twigs. Must have been quite a fall.
Okay, so the dead drow here fell from a great height. And you can read his journal. Basically, soon I will return to Menzo Baranzan and Sorcerer, then the Archmage will worship me. So, this was an apprentice that ran away, basically, and is trying to get back into favor by bringing back some artifacts. Okay. So... we can pick that up, and now what we're going to do is... so I'm going to look at... so I've got a 10 strength. Okay, so I'm going to have Astarian cast guidance on me.
Have a lot on my mind. And, well, in it.
Okay, and I'm going to jump up to here.
Better take a closer look.
Okay, and you see that I passed a perception check on that one, but I failed it on this one. So I can pick up the Sylvan Stone. Now I'm going to jump back down. And let's go with Astarian. Okay, so he passed his investigation check, and that means that one's disappeared. So now you know that this one here is the one to get at. The problem is that he doesn't have enough jump height to get up there. Okay, so We're gonna go with Lae'zel and try and have him,
What now?
or try and have her make a check. No. Well, I can leave you there.
Action, not reaction.
Okay, so now she's gonna jump up here, and again, we've got 2 choices to make. She passed, so that one's gonna disappear. So now she can jump to here. 2 choices to make. That one disappeared. So she can jump to this one. And now she can jump to this one. And now she can jump up here. She can pick up the Sylvan Stone from up here, I believe. Yes. Okay, now the first thing she's going to do is go over here to the Mushroom Circle. Okay. So now you can see that everyone is grouped up.
One true way.
This mushroom circle is now active, so if I go and click on it, everybody's now teleported up here to the top. Okay, and while we're here, I'm gonna have Historian Gas Guidance on her.
Not as bad as it could have. Moving in.
Okay, so everybody failed their investigation checks. Okay, and that's because this wall here, you can see this leads you to the tea house. There's
Another illusion. Is anything real down here?
Okay. You get XP for this. Go in here, you can pick up the Sylvan Stone. And I'm looking to see... Holding Alt. If there's anything else. Okay. So, we do have another Sylvan Stone here. Okay. So, this mushroom circle here, you click on it, you might recognize where we are. This is inside of Auntie Ethel's lair. Okay. So holding Alt, you can look around and see, but the path out is here. Okay, there's actually some items that we can pick up over here. Okay. You can move out here. There's nothing out here that I've found during early access. Yeah, you can't jump over here or anything like that. It's just a nice visual. But again, don't take that for granted. In the full version, that may change. But you can see here that we have another illusion door.
With haste.
This is on the other side of this, which you can't see here. This leads into that area that we jumped up to on the ledge inside of the Hag's Lair after we had the fight with her. This area allows you to another path into the Underdark by coming in here, clicking on this mushroom circle, Now, we are going to go over here and look at this pile of bones first. Okay, yeah, see, here's where you can see, this is where we fought Anti-Ethel. This is that area where you can jump up here in front of this illusion door. Okay. So, this, in the previous patches, you could pass a perception check and you'd find out this was a fake door and you could walk through it, and this would give you another way to come in here, click on the mushroom circle, would take you to the Underdark mushroom circle here. And then you could walk out through the illusion wall to here, click on this mushroom circle, and it would teleport you down to the bottom here, and now you're in the Underdark proper. Okay, so just one more way to get into the Underdark. This way from the Hag's Lair. Okay. So we'll go over here, click on the mushroom circle. That's going to take us down here. And now we can make our way up to here. And we're going to stop here and go and look at our inventory. So I believe we have some Sylvan Stones we can transfer. We have a bunch of camp supplies that we definitely want to send off. So we'll just clear these out real quick. And then we'll get ready to head into this new area. But like I say, you want to stop short a little bit. Move this all over to Gale. And now we're ready to go. So you want to stop short here. We're going to do a quick save. And we're going to go into hiding and split the group. So we're going to go in with Astarion first. Okay, so he was not able to go into hiding there. Oh, because I had split the group. Yes.
Action, not reaction. Undetected.
Okay. So, Astarion is in hiding, and we're going to move him in here.
Scorch marks. Hints of weave, too. There might
Okay.
just be trouble afoot.
So, Gale passed his survival check and realized that there's scorch marks on the ground, and that they're related to weave. So, there's probably something magical here. And we're going to stay out of the detection cone until we get here. Now you can see that there's an arcane turret over here. You can see it on the map. There's another one up here that has not been activated yet. Okay, so what we want to do here is try and traverse this area without getting seen by the arcane turret. And if we can clear their detection cones, then we can get out, we can stay in hiding, and if we can clear their detection cones and get past them, then we have a way, we know a way to deactivate them. So here, this is too far to jump for Astarion. Okay, so he's going to have to try and cross this area here. And we want to get him into cover behind this rock. That's going to keep this turret from seeing him, because you can see there's a gap here. So we're just going to have him in hiding and hope he passes his stealth checks to try and get over there. And we're going to take the shortest path to where he can't be seen, which is right here. Okay, so we did get seen. But that doesn't matter, because it takes a bit for the arcane turret to warm up, so to speak, to get to a point where it needs to fire. Now this one is activated, and you can see it can see all the way down here as well, but there's this small little gap here between both where where you can't be seen. Right? Now, because that one's activated, we have another way that we can go to get around here. We could probably jump across this and get over to here, but that doesn't get us anywhere we need to go. We need to get over here into this area. So, kind of like we used to say in the military, I'm up, they see me, I'm down, I'm looking for my next covered and concealed position. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to look for, if we fail our hide check, our stealth check, where do we want to get to stay out of line of sight? So you can see with this one here, its line of sight is hidden by that column. This one would be hidden here. So if we try and get ourselves into that spot here, maybe right here, this would be a good place to get to keep us out of sight there. Now, one thing I want to make sure I have with me, and I don't have it. Let's see if we're able to give him one when he's up there. Let's see if we can give that to a star, and we can. We want to give him the Elixir of Hill Giant Strength just because we want to be able to have him jump a long way once he gets over here to this point. So let's try and get him to move over here and pass a stealth check as he goes through here.
Just like old times.
Okay, so he passed that hiding check. Okay, so now he's good. So now that we're out of the detection cones, we don't have to worry about them turning. They don't move around or anything like that. So we'll stay in hiding. If you come out of hiding, they're going to turn and see you. So you want to stay in hiding. Okay, now here is as far as we can get forward with him, and you can see if we try and jump, he can't make it up there. It's too high. So we want to drink the potion of Hill Giant Strength, and now he can jump up here. The potion of Hill Giant Strength is going to last until his next long rest, so he's got plenty of time. Now we're going to jump him over here. And we can jump him down here. Now, I can't remember where it is. I think it's down here. So we'll continue moving down here. There's an... Oh no, that's an arcane turret upstairs, not down here. Yeah, see, it's got the up arrow next to it. Okay, and he passed his perception check. And there's a pipe here. Now, this is something interesting. I want to look at my wild shapes. There's a cat, there's a wolf, a spider. But the spider's pretty big. The cat. It can avoid attention. I wonder what that means. Let's go down here. See if we can make it as a cat. Okay.
That's a friendly looking shadow.
Let's just move out here and see if she has to pass a hiding check or not. She does. Okay. So that's not going to matter. So avoid attention doesn't really do anything. Okay. I was hoping it was going to. But either way, we'll do this with Astarion. Because I believe that this pipe here, you can crawl into that as a druid while you're in wild shape. We can kind of explore that option once we disable the arcane turrets. Actually, that's what we'll do. But it's another way to get in there without having to lockpick this door.
Subtle steps.
Okay? So that means you would have to get there. You know, actually, I really kind of want to see if I can show this.
I don't need.
Okay, I want to explore this with you one-on-one, or at the same time here. So, let's wild shape. Let's wild shape into a raven so that we can fly. Okay. And now let's fly over to here. Okay. And now we're going to fly over to here. Okay. And now...
Just out of view.
I don't think we have any other places we can go where we won't be seen by this turret. There might be a little spot over there. Around the corner, maybe. But I don't know. So let's do this turn-based. I'm seeing how to do this because I think what's going to happen... Well, we'll see how it goes here. Okay, so we'll end turn. Okay. So, looks like it did. So now we'll try and fly over here. And from there, okay, so it knocked me out of wild shape. Okay, and I took a little bit of damage. But from here, I think I can move down here and get out of line of sight. So we're going to dash.
Need to find a way forward.
Okay, so... Oh, nope, we can't. So we're going to jump down here. Oh, why does that still have line of sight on me? I don't think it does. It doesn't. Okay, so now we're out of... Well, maybe. So now we'll end turn and see if I take more damage. Okay, so I'm out of line of sight. So now I can come out of turn-based mode. And I can follow Astarion down here. Okay. All that just to explore this option and see if I can do this with you guys. So I'm going to take a short rest here. And now that I know the pipe is there, I'm going to see if I can wild shape into something like the cat. And I can click on the hole. Okay. I'm glad I explored that with all of you, because I haven't done that in one of the playthroughs yet. I wanted you all to see it. So, as a druid, you have the option of wild shaping into the cat, which is small enough to... Hold on, actually, my cat is playing with my computer. Give me just a second. Okay. My cat is not white like this. My cat is entirely, well, one of my cats is entirely gray. But she was actually doing that exact same thing. She was stretching here right on top of my computer. That's kind of funny. But yeah, as a druid, you can make your way in here without having to pick this lock, because there's a lever right here, which will open that door. So I brought Astarion down here with me, but I didn't need him. I brought him down here for the sole purpose of picking that lock, but I was able to get down here just fine in turn-based mode with the arcane turrets by just avoiding them as best I could.
That'll fit in my pack.
And then getting down here, wild shaping into a cat and coming through that pipe. You do have to perceive that pipe first, so make sure that you pass that perception check. But once you do, you can see the pipe and you can make your way through it. So I'm just going to go down here, pick up some more of these camp supplies. There's nothing else that you can see or do out here. There's no way to walk into the water out here, and there's nowhere to jump when you get out here. So now I can make my way out here, and you can see that there are some sussur blooms. There's also some things that we can search. And you see that the sussur blooms have an AoE bubble around them. When you step into that bubble, you get an anti-magic field. I cannot cast spells. You can see they're all grayed out. Casting spells is blocked. Okay. So I can pick up, you can pick them up, but now whenever I move, that anti-magic field moves with me. So anybody near me is now not going to be able to cast spells. So you want to be very careful when you pick those up, because now you're like a moving silence spell is what you are. Okay, so I'm gonna send that to Gale, and remind me I need to check Gale's scroll situation and see if he has. There's one more. I could have sworn that there's another Bullywug trumpet there. There is. And again, there's like 1 pixel. Okay, well, I'm not going to mess with it. Looks like it's a little bugged. Okay. So now if I go over and stand next to Astarion, Astarion gets the same, basically, silent spell applied to him. Okay, now the reason we wanted to pick that up is we're going to come in here and there's a lot of searching to do here. But before we get to that, we're going to make our way around to this side. Okay, and you can see that there are withered blue petals on the ground. the Susser bloom that we picked up has got blue petals on it. And you can see that if we click on the power generator, you can put an item into here. Okay, and that basically powers up the Arcane Tower. And as part of what you saw happen there, if we go back to Lae'zel, we can group her and Gale up, and we don't have to hide them anymore. Because we saw as part of that cutscene, the Arcane turrets are now shut down. Okay, so we can just go in here and do all of our searching and all of that sort of stuff now without any fear of being attacked by the Arcane turrets. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're just going to do some explorations out here around the outside. You can see there's a lot to see out here. Like I say, the Underdark is a very pretty place. And you can see this is the area down there that we just explored. If you turn around this way, you get an overview of the village and the skiff that we're going to be using to get to the end game portion of early access. So holding Alt, we have some more Bullywug Trumpet camp supplies. We have some more bones we can search. Then out here, holding Alt, you can see there's a lot of things up here on top. So holding Alt, there's a heavy chest. It's locked. So we're going to deal with that here in a second. But you can see there's a bronze ingot here. Okay, now the bronze ingot doesn't do anything in early access that I've found. Again, there might be something that you can do with them in the full version, but there are 3 of them that are here. And then there's a letter on the table. And it talks about someone named Lenore and someone named Eerie. So it looks like they were in love. They were partners of some sort. So they waited, but no one came. Okay, this is an important letter to read. You don't necessarily have to take it, but you have to read it. So now the heavy chest, it weighs 10 pounds, so I can pick it up without a problem. Okay, and carry that with me. Holding Alt, I'm just looking around. Okay, so both of those perception checks failed. We want to remember that there's a perception check, though, so we're going to leave them both standing over here. And we're going to head back to Dervahlin and Astarion. So Astarion can come inside. And now we can have him start searching here. So there are some jewels that he can pick up. Okay, there are some bottle racks, which in early access don't have anything in them. There's that hole. that the cat came through. We can do some searching of some vases and some crates. Just a regular book. Sorry, I have to pause every once in a while there to cough. It's trying to do it off mic here. So a nightlife rod, a dragonhead mushroom, and then we have a book about Susser tree flowers. And it basically says that, you know, they can use them as a power source. So this is the book that kind of helps you understand that you need to put a Susser tree flower in the power generator to make it work. Okay, we already knew that from previous playthroughs. Okay, so now I can group up
What now?
Astarion
How much farther can I go?
and Jorvalen, and we can start or continue searching here. There's the elixir of hill giant strength that that Astarion used to get here, or yeah, that we used. So we'll give that back to him. He can carry one of them. We have more crystals. Those will go to Gale. And more camp supplies. And now we can make our way up the stairs. Okay, and that reveals more stairs and gets us up to this level here. And there's a chest on the table. And that gives us uncovered mysteries. Now, uncovered mysteries is interesting in that it's an amulet that allows you to detect thoughts. Now, detect thoughts can be of a huge benefit to you while you're in conversations with NPCs. This would allow you one free casting of it. So it's great to have on somebody that they can, before you know, or before you're going to get into a conversation with somebody, you can equip that. And then if there's an option to cast Detect Thoughts, you'll have that option available to you. And it's free. You don't have to expend a spell slot for it or anything like that. So it's a great little amulet to keep kind of in your back pocket and equip it if you need to. So now we've explored everything we can on this floor. And if you look inside here, in this room, there's a button that says Ascend. Basically an elevator. Now you have ascend and descend, so you can go back where you were, you can go up another floor. So we're not going to go up another floor yet. We're going to explore where we're at. And we're going to start by opening up these doors. You can walk out on the balcony. There's nothing out here though. So we're going to start exploring clockwise here. And there are some burlap sacks we can search. Nothing. There's a sprouting Timask, which we don't need a sprouting Timask. We need Timask spores, but not sprouting. Okay, we have some more vases to search. And here's a Timask spore. Now we only need one. So just pick one up for later. We haven't learned why we need it yet, because we came to the Arcane Tower first. But we will very quickly learn, well, somewhat quickly learn why we need it. But suffice to say, just pick one up, carry it in your inventory for now. You're going to need it. Okay, so we can keep searching the vases and the sacks. Alright, we have another sack here we can search. Holding Alt periodically. Okay, and now we have a Tongue of Madness over here as well. And you're going to need one of those. So again, just pick one up. You don't need any more than one. Just one is fine. Okay, and we can open up these doors. We have a burlap sack out on the balcony. Heading back in. We have a supply pack here that we can pick up. And a book we can read. Now, there are books throughout here, this tower, which are important clues for how you're going to do an interaction later on. So, how can I trust? How will I ever know? How can I show myself my darkest me? Okay? You have to keep that in mind because this is one of those clue books
Quite the literary type.
that you will need, like I say, for an interaction later on. So make sure you at least read them. You don't have to pick up the books, but at least make sure you read them. Okay, last we have a crate here. Oh, we do have some burlap sacks we can search. Now we can go back into the elevator. We can hit ascend again. Okay, now there's another arcane turret here. Thankfully it's disabled. So you can see that if you try and brute force your way in here, you're going to run into some issues because there are going to be active arcane towers spread throughout this facility. There's another one over here. So brute forcing your way in is not the recommended way to go. Okay, so nothing here on the balcony. Gonna hold Alt and move ourselves around here. Okay. We have an elixir of fire resistance and a potion of healing, which I think is going to go to Lae'zel. She used one. Traveler's chest. There's broken machinery. Now, so far I haven't found a use in early access for the broken machinery. But you find broken machinery in a couple of different locations. So maybe there will be a use for it in the full version. Okay, so now we'll go open this door, and if you look outside, this door, and there's a lever next to it to open it, this leads you outside. And remember, we want to go down here and go to this area and see if we can pass a perception check. So let's kind of take it wide around here. We'll break the group and we'll have Astarion cast Guidance. And no, we'll have Norvalen go up here and see if that was weird. There was a perception check down here. That they both tried to make, but failed. I wonder why that was. Interesting. Okay, well we will, just to be on the safe side, maybe she triggered it and failed it when she tried to fly over the top of it. Okay, that must have been what happened. When she was in wild shape and flew over it, she must have failed the perception check, so that's why I wasn't allowing her to do another one. Okay, so there's a good amount of gold here.
Do we have to spend so long poking about down here?
And a scroll of fireball.
I'd much rather be outside with the sun on my skin.
You've only just come to tolerate sun and you're already nostalgic. If you're going to complain the whole way, by all means, return topside. You could use the color.
I love the interactions between those two. So we picked up a scroll of fireball. We're going to move some of these items that we picked up over here. For Gale to sell. And we're going to keep this potion of Hill Giant Strength in here. Okay, we picked up a scroll of fireball, which is kind of unfortunate, actually. Because if you know you're going to find one of those somewhere, then Gale can learn it off of that scroll. Oh, he can't learn fireball. Oh, well, because he's already got it. Yeah, that's why. He doesn't. It's not going to appear in this list because he's already got it. So you don't have to waste one of your learned spell slots on fireball if you know you're going to pick it up in a scroll somewhere. It's such a rare scroll that right now you want to learn fireball as soon as you can. That scroll just gives him the ability to cast it without using a spell slot later on. Okay, so we're gonna, again, make our way here into the center. And we're gonna continue kind of working our way around, and there's a dusty book here.
Seems simple enough.
Again, another clue book. There's a light in every living thing. It's crawling towards the surface to survive, and in its wake it tramples everything. We'll kill the rest so that the one can thrive. Okay, so again, you don't have to pick these up, but you do have to read them and remember them for the clues. And now we have what's called a chest of the mundane here.
That chest. I can feel its magic.
Okay. When you click on it, it's just got 3 rather ordinary things in it. So we'll take one.
Wait. Did that just transform?
If you look at your inventory now, you can see it transformed into a scroll of protection from evil and good. So we can do that with the ladle. We got a scroll of mage armor. We can do it with the mug. And you've got Mistress Grace. Now, Mistress Grace are a really cool pair of boots. They just give you the ability to cast Featherfall as a bonus action. Now, Featherfall can save you from fall damage, and they are wearable by Gale since they're just boots. They're not armor. Now, Featherfall lasts for 10 turns. It's not a only or last until long rest spell. So if you get into a situation where Gale's like on the high ground somewhere and he's worried that he might get shoved off, then he can cast Featherfall in preparation for that. But it's something that you have to think carefully about before you get into an encounter where you might need it, because it's not something that you can just passively take effect on. And I did forget, we do have the chest that we want to drop here and have Astarian lockpick.
Let's crack it open.
Okay, so it's a DC of 15, so why is the scroll of gaseous form, why does it give you advantage? I wonder if it's because you can transform into a cloud of mist and go inside the lock or something. Oh, no, okay. Target becomes resilient, gains advantage on Constitution, Dexterity, and Strength saving throws. Okay, interesting. So... Oh, I didn't want to do that. No, I want to keep that off. I got guidance on. Wow. Okay, I needed that. No, I guess I didn't. I guess I would have passed it. It would have been a 15. I'd have just barely gotten it. Okay, so this has Skybreaker and silver ingots. So now we found bronze ingots and silver ingots. They weigh, you know, a bit. So Gale is going to sell these items off. Send off these camp supplies. And we'll continue to carry these for now. Okay, there is no use for them that I found in early access, like I said, but you never know if there's going to be some way to forge them. Okay, so Skybreaker. Skybreaker is...
Oh, enough waiting. I crave blood.
A light hammer, meaning it is a single-handed weapon that you can use that you can use in your main hand to dual wield with, I think. Yes. We don't want to. We want to keep that sickle on there. But it also has Searing Smite. So this is with a bonus action, you can cast this spell, and when you attack, it marks your target with Searing Smite. Now, we did pick up that item that if you inflicted somebody with Smite, you got another bonus, but this isn't something that I'm really going to be relying on, I think. I may try it out just to see kind of how it works. So let's clear out some of the Timath Spores and the Tongue of Madness we want to keep. This is going to Gale. This is going to Gale. As well as this. Okay, so maybe I will substitute the Githyanki longsword for it. Okay, I'm not proficient with it. That was going to be the next thing I was going to look at and see. So I am not proficient with light hammers. Yeah, they're a simple weapon, but you're no longer proficient with all of them. Astarion is. But again, I don't think that's supposed to work, because that's not a finesse weapon. I could be wrong, but I don't think that is supposed to work.
Careful, I bite.
But either way, it's a downgrade for him, and that it's 1d6 here compared to 1d4. So yeah, I don't think I'm going to end up using it. It might be an interesting test at some point just to see how Searing Smite works with the item that we just picked up that works with Smite.
On my way.
So now we can make our way over here and ascend again. Okay. And we can do some searching while we're up here. A silver glass. Holding Alt, there is a wooden chest over here. Forgot to search this cupboard for a book. Okay, and we have a trap disarm kit that Gale can sell. We don't need any more of those.
her ready.
Okay, we have some bookshelves that we can search. And that's not a clue book.
New horizons.
Neither is that. Okay, so none of those are clue books. The Road to Darkness, however, is a clue book. And if you go through sorry, I'm just reading through it real quick to see what the line is. We'll have to go through it when we get up top. Okay, so we can pick that up. He is going to sell it. There's a handwritten letter here. And this is Lenore and Amarith. A Bulette is not a pet. So why would you try and tame a Bulette? Just because you found it near Myrna's grave doesn't mean that it's a sign. It really warms my heart to hear that you put the autumn crocus flowers on Myrna's grave. I remember she liked to roll around in them even though she'd always sneeze afterwards. She was such a soft, loyal dog. I wish there was more I could do. So, they lost their dog. And there actually is a grave out there, Myrna's grave, that you can find. Again, we kind of skipped it by coming here first. Coming in the way that we did. Okay, we're picking up some really good scrolls here. But we'll go explore Myrna's grave on the way out. So there's a landscape painting that you can pick up. You can search the wardrobe for some more gold. And then here you can see there's a bone, there's a bowl, and there's a button. If you push the button now...
This button must have had a use once. But was it worth reaching so far down for?
Okay, you can see the button is down low to the ground, and it's sitting next to this area here, which has a blanket, a bowl, and a bone. Looks like a dog bed. And a place, and there's a button down there near the dog bed that maybe the dog could push on its own. You learn about that. And we're going to send this to camp. Whoops, not split. We're going to send to camp, and we're going to pick up Mage's Friend. Mage's Friend is exactly what it seems like. It gives you +1 to Arcana, +1 to Religion. No reason not to equip it immediately. So you can see he's got the color spray ring on right now, just because there was no other person that needed to wear it. But the button down low, maybe it served a purpose that the dog could hit the button. And that's exactly what it was. You learn more about it by searching Myrna's grave first. Like I say, we kind of bypassed that when we came here directly. But we will get to it eventually. Okay, so we've cleared this out, and now we can head upstairs. We're going to check our spell slots real quick.
For now.
Assume nothing.
What a day.
Okay, so we still have a wild shape left. Might as well take a short rest. Just get everybody back, and we'll go up and ascend.
New sounds to dampen dark oppression break. Is it the foe? That foul, contemptuous heel?
You know these words. They are from the opening stanza of a play you found in this very tower.
Okay, so when you come up here, you immediately get interrogated by Bernard here. Okay, so the top one here in quotation marks is a clue you were given as a response based upon reading it from one of the books.
Come out of love for me, not love for blood and steel. Command as you see fit, my lord, my liege.
Okay, if you haven't read the play, you don't have that option. and Bernard will become hostile. Okay, but now we can leave, and you see we have some other options here that are in quotation marks, meaning we read them from a book while we were here. But for now, let's leave. Okay, and you can see Bernard, guardian of the Enchanted Tower. There's also some animated armors. 2, 3, 4 that are also up here. So if you answer that incorrectly, or you haven't read the book, then you can get into a fight with Bernard and you're going to be surrounded. Okay. Now remember I mentioned broken machinery. There are more broken machinery parts up here. What I'm hoping is maybe in the early access or in the full version you can use these to create maybe another automaton or something like that. It would be very interesting if that you could do. Okay, so again is a poem, and we know that these lines have all been from plays and poems here. So maybe this will lead us to something else that's going to happen. So again, a bunch of broken machinery and that patched parchment. Now if you go talk to Bernard again, you can see that there's now another option here. Okay, so every time you read something, you open up an option. He will not respond to any of these. He's an automaton that's been programmed with responses to specific things that you have to read. Okay, so if you haven't read them, you can't give him any commands. Okay, so again, more broken machinery here. So inside this area here, we have well, it says a stool, but it says it's a stool of hill giant strength. So let's split the group and let's just click on it. Okay, let's try and sit on it. Okay, you can't. Let's move it, which writes it up. Then you can sit on it.
What's this feeling of power?
Okay, now if you look at your stats, I have Hill Giant Strength cast on me, basically. So my strength is now 21. But if you stand up, you lose it. Okay, now there's a clue here. We're going to attack the chair.
Chair leg could make for a fine weapon.
What's that?
Okay. And now there's a club of Hill Giant Strength. So now, if you look at this, whenever you're holding this, that was interesting. Oh. Hold on. No, that's not right. We'll come back and look at that here in a second. But when you are holding it, now your strength is 15. You can see down there at the bottom it says 15 from Splinters of a Giant's Might. Meaning that you're not getting full Hill Giant strength out of it, but your strength is 15. Okay, so now I'm getting +2 to strength ability checks. I can carry more. My carry weight's up, quite a bit here. And I have +2 to all of my ability checks. But the club is only a 1d4 weapon. Whereas I was carrying a 1d10 weapon here previously. So you take quite a bit of a hit in using it. However, there's an option here. So if you take the shield off and you put the longsword there, and oh no, it's not. It's versatile, but it needs to be light. So if I take this here, for instance, and I swap it out with the short sword, now Astarian's strength Oh, he's still got the Elixir of Hill Giant Strength on. That's why it's 21. His strength is now going to be 15 when it's normally 8, I think. And he's not really using his offhand attack anyway. So this is basically a free way to get Astarian's strength up to 15 to allow him to jump farther and things like that, to get him into more places that he might, want to, unlock a door or pick a chest without having to use a potion of Hill Giant Strength to get there. Okay, so it's just one more interesting thing to do. We'll keep the Steel Forged Sword here just as a backup, but he went from 1d6 plus 4, or he went from 1d6 plus 6 to 1d4. So he loses quite a bit here because it's no longer using his dexterity to calculate damage, because it's not a finesse weapon, it's just light. Okay, but he is able to wield them both. Okay, so if that becomes a problem, you can always swap it out and put it back later on. So continuing around here, just looking around, we have another crate over here with some more broken machinery in it. And we'll split the group and take Gale over here. You can't talk to the animated armors or anything like that. We'll have him search the books, take all the scrolls.
Step by step.
No time to rest. On my way.
And now you can come up here to the top. And again, another animated armor. Holding Alt, nothing else to search up here. Okay. So now we're going to get ready for how we want to do this. Now, we are going to get into a fight here, but we want to do it on our terms. Bernard is carrying something which can be kind of nice. He's actually carrying it on his back. You can see it. We won't use it this playthrough, but it's a nice item to have. Maybe in the full version it will have some more usages. So we're going to take Gale, and we're going to put him up here. There's a ladder he can climb to get up here. And we're going to have him go into hiding. Hey, Lae'zel.
Proceeding.
We're going to bring out here. Actually, we're not. I don't think. Okay, yeah, no. Lae'zel is going to start this one off. She's going to be right here in front of Bernard.
Surprised you spotted me.
Astarian can stay up here around the corner. And he's going to be in hiding.
Shouldn't have wished to live.
And my Druid is going to be over here in this corner.
Moving ahead.
Actually, we'll put her right here up against this wall. And she'll be in hiding.
All right. Time to
okay? So now you can see everybody who's in hiding is outside of a detection cone to start with. Okay? And definitely going to save there. And we're going to start this off with Lae'zel using a pushing attack. Now, we're not going to do it, but if you look and see where that blue arrow goes, it's going to knock Bernard all the way down here onto this these set of stairs over here. And he's going to have to make his way back in to the elevator inside the first floor, and then he's going to have to make his way back up to the top. Now, there is something else, and there's something that actually I want to try. I didn't think about it until just now. But let's descend 2 floors. Go out the main entrance over here. Or actually, let's not. Let's use the lever to see if we can use the lever to close the door again. We can't. Oh, yeah, we can. Okay. So, I don't know if the doors are going to be openable from the outside if Bernard falls down there or not. They were locked previously. I don't know if they are now locked again or not, or because I used the lever to open them, they're now unlocked. But either way, we're going to close the doors. If they're locked and they keep Bernard outside, that's great. If they're not locked, it's not going to cause any, it's not going to be any different than if they were open. But a pushing attack is going to push him out the window, and he's going to take fall damage, quite a bit of it, outside there. Okay? But he's going to be very... And then we don't have to deal with him and his large pool of hit points for a while. So that gives us a chance to deal with the other armored enemies and that sort of stuff up here without having to deal with Bernard at the same time. So I think that is as good as any point to wrap the stream up. So you guys are lucky. We will start out next week with jumping right into some combat, so which I know everybody likes to see. But we will start that out next week. So I think we'll just wrap everything up there and we'll call it a weekend. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining me today. As always, without your support, none of this would be possible. This is Commander Jorval saying, until next time, fare thee well.